You've probably asked yourself this question: should my 2-year-old be saying more by now? Maybe you've noticed they don't talk as much as other children at nursery. Maybe they don't follow simple instructions. Or maybe they're not using as many words, or any at all. If that's you, this video is for you, because there's a lot of pressure around what's normal at 2 years old. And I want to give you the real picture with calm, clarity, and hopefully with some kindness. My name is Varsha, and I've been a speech and language therapist in the UK, based in London for over 20 years, including working at Great Ormond Street Hospital for nearly 10 years. And I'm a parent too. I've had so many conversations with families who are worried about their 2-year-old's development. And I want you to know this: it's completely understandable to feel worried. Many parents do. Wanting to learn more and understand your child better is a really important first step. So in this video, we're going to look at what we typically see in 2-year-olds when it comes to attention and listening, understanding of language and expressive language, speech sound skills, play and social interactions. These are all areas a speech and language therapist looks at when thinking about assessing a child's speech and language development. And I'll also talk about why normal isn't black and white, and what you can do in small, everyday ways to support your child's communication. Let's talk about attention and listening first. That's how your child focuses and listens day to day. At around 2, we expect attention to be short, shifting, and easily distracted by noises in the environment, and that's completely normal. Your child might focus on a toy or activity for 1 or 2 minutes, especially if it's around something they really enjoy, like pushing the car or turning the pages of their favourite book. But don't be surprised if they flip from one thing to another pretty quickly. That's just how a toddler's brain works. At this age, it's totally normal for toddlers to switch from one activity to another really quickly. They might be stacking blocks one moment and running off to grab another toy the next. Their attention moves fast. But with a bit of adult support, like gently saying their name or pointing something out or guiding their hand, they can usually refocus back on what you were doing. Most 2-year-olds need that kind of help to stick with an activity for more than a minute or two. So if you feel you're constantly redirecting them, that's not a problem. That's developmentally what we expect to happen. It's all part of how attention grows at this age, in short bursts with your support. They might listen to a short rhyme or action song like Row, Row, Row Your Boat and try and join in with the actions. And they'll often pause and look up if they hear a familiar noise like a doorbell or a hoover. When it comes to looking at a book, they might stay with it for 1 or 2 minutes, especially if you're talking about the pictures or letting them turn the pages. Some children love books. Others are less interested in books as they prefer real objects. And at this stage, that's also fine. And while they can get distracted easily with a bit of adult help, like pointing or showing them something or saying their name, they can usually be gently brought back to what they were doing. So don't worry if your toddler doesn't seem focused in the way other children are. Their attention is still developing. And right now, it's all about short bursts, quick shifts, and lots of curiosity. Here are some simple tips to help your toddler develop their attention and listening. Use fun sounds and big facial expressions to grab their attention. Sit face to face and follow their lead. Notice what they're interested in, whether it's a spoon, a car, or a light switch, and talk about it. When we focus on what they're already paying attention to, it's much easier to hold their interest for a little longer. Use short animated activities. Songs with actions like wind the bobbin up, if you're happy and you know it, are perfect. Sing songs from your culture that are repetitive, fun, and full of natural pauses that help your child to learn, listen, and join in. Pause before the final word to see if your child fills it in. Clap your. Create simple routines with repetition. Toddlers love knowing what's coming next. Use the same words and actions during familiar routines like nappy changes, snack time, or getting dressed. Socks on, 1 sock, 2 socks, all done. Try short hands-on activities, messy play, water play, stacking blocks, filling and emptying containers. These are all great. Keep the activity short and simple. Sit with them, comment on what they're doing, and gently support their focus with the words and your presence. Limit background distractions. Turn off the TV or loud music when playing together. Background noise makes it harder for toddlers to tune in and listen. A quiet space helps them notice your voice and stay with the moment just a little bit longer. Play games with lots of anticipation, for example, Ready, Steady, Go, tickle games, round around the garden, like peekaboo games, or similar games you might have in your culture. This gets their attention, holds it, and they start to anticipate what's coming next. Copy their sounds. If they love musical instruments, copy the beats on the drum. See if they can copy you. Play it loudly and then play it quietly. This helps build their listening skills. If they make noises, copy them. Grab their attention. Understanding usually develops before talking. By 2, children follow simple instructions like come here, sit down, or get your shoes. They recognize body parts, so if you say, where's your nose, they might point. They understand the names of favorite objects or toys, and they go and get them when asked. They understand who familiar people are, so when you say, where's daddy, without pointing, your child looks at daddy or points to him. They respond to action words like jump, give, kiss Teddy. They show they understand a question like, where's the ball, by looking at it or pointing. But if they don't follow instructions, it may be because the language is too complex, or they're distracted or tired, or they're just not tuned in. What can you do? Use short, clear phrases like give Teddy, shoes on, come here. Use the most important word and repeat it. If your child is holding a ball, say ball, so your child makes the connection with that round, colourful, bouncy thing is a ball. If you would like them to sit, say sit. Use the gesture. Then mummy sit. So your child is clear. The word sit is for the thing I do when I smash my bottom down. Pair your words with gestures or pointing. This helps their brain link the language to the meaning. Understanding of language is complex, as we can't always see what your child understands like we can with expressive language or when they're using words. If you want to know more about this, then see my video, Does Your Toddler Really Understand What You're Saying? I'll link it here or put it in the notes underneath. Now let's talk about what 2-year-olds typically say. Many children at this age use around 50 words, but some have more and some have fewer. Both are okay. They use single words like mummy, daddy, ball, milk, up, go, again. They attempt names like a sibling's name or a nickname. They use action words like give, jump, open, all gone. They begin to combine words, more juice, mummy car, bye bye dog. You might not hear every sound clearly, and that's fine too. They might say bar for ball or nana for banana. These are important stepping stones. What you can do: expand on their words. If they say car, you say yes, red car. Avoid asking them to repeat. Just model the words clearly in a natural sentence. Use your child's interest to build on the vocabulary. Whatever they love, use it. If they love water, use it. And repeat the words like splash. If they love cars, use this. Car, look, car. If they love building towers, repeat more every time you put a brick on. If they love bubbles, say bubbles or pop. If your child doesn't understand the name for this round, bouncy, black and white thing is ball, we can't expect them to say it. Not understanding language is often the key as to why your child isn't talking. Speech doesn't need to be perfect at this age. In fact, most 2-year-olds are still hard to understand, even for people who know them well. We often see lots of babble mixed in with words. We hear early sounds like p, b, m, d, n. Some children will try more difficult sounds like k or t, but others won't yet. We see simplified words like guck for duck, or tatter for tractor, or tat for cat. Clarity comes gradually, and messy speech is usually part of the process. What can you do? Celebrate their efforts, even if the word isn't perfect. Don't ask a child to repeat the word back correctly. You repeat the word back the right way for them with no pressure. Add fun sounds into play. Vroom, vroom, pop, moo. All great for sound learning. Sing songs with lots of repetition like Old MacDonald, Wheels on the Bus, or songs from your own language and culture. Pause at the part that is repeated. For example, the bell on the bus goes. Make the bus shape with your lips. Start doing the action. Does your child fill in the gap? Play is where language comes to life. At 2, you might see exploratory play. So that's putting things in and taking things out, stacking and banging. Pretend play, so pretending to drink from a cup, feeding Teddy, putting baby to bed. Functional play, so that's using things how they're meant to be used, so rolling a ball, pushing the car back and forth. Copying what you do, sweeping, pretending to talk on the phone, wiping the table. What can you do? Sit with them and join in. You don't need fancy toys. Narrate the play. Teddy's sleeping, night night. Follow their lead. If they want to stir with the spoon for 10 times, go with it. Not all children love toys. My boy didn't, and I used to think, why isn't he playing with toys? I'd buy countless toys in the hope that he would engage. But you know what he loved? Household items, the vacuum cleaner, mops, cleaning sprays with water in. So that's what we went with, the things he loved. 2-year-olds are still learning how to connect, but they usually use eye contact, smiles, or gestures to get your attention. They consistently turn when their name is called. They follow your point or your gaze to look at something together. We call that joint attention. They might show you something like a random leaf or a big red bus. They enjoy simple turn-taking games like rolling a ball back and forth and clapping games. They bring you things to show you, like their favourite toy or a leaf that they found. They begin to use gestures like pointing, waving, reaching to communicate without words. At this stage, toddlers are still learning how to connect with others. You might not see them playing with other children just yet, and that's okay. What we expect to see is something called parallel play. That means your child might sit next to another toddler, play with similar toys, or even copy what the other child is doing, but they're not quite playing together yet. You might see short moments of connection like offering or grabbing a toy, copying sounds or actions, or giggling when the other child laughs. But these moments are usually quite brief, and it's totally normal for things to turn into pushing, grabbing, or tears pretty quickly. Toddlers are still learning to manage their feelings, and they need your help to navigate social situations. If your child isn't sharing or turn taking, don't worry. That's a skill that develops slowly and with lots of support, and it usually becomes more noticeable after the age of 3. What's important is that your child notices other children, shows interest even if it's just for a moment, and is starting to build confidence being around other little ones. Even if it doesn't look like much, all of these short bursts of interactions are helping to build the social skill they'll need as they grow. So if your toddler plays alongside other children without directly engaging, that's perfectly typical at this age. And if they need your help to share or take turns, that's typical too. What you can do: pause and wait. Give them time to respond or take a turn. Use pointing and gestures yourself. Model what they can do. Hide their favourite toy somewhere obvious around the room. Where's Monkey? Also just gesturing where. Then point in the direction and gently lead them in the direction. And when they find it, say, "Here it is," with lots of smiles and claps and praise. Show interest in what they are interested in. This builds confidence and connection and is the most important part of social interaction. Keep giving them chances to be around other children in low pressure ways. Parks, playgroups, children's centres or hubs, family visits, and know that their social skills will keep developing over time. Now let's talk about screen time and what's recommended for babies and toddlers under 2. Most experts, including the World Health Organization and the Royal College of Pediatrics and Child Health, suggest no screen time for children under 2, apart from video chatting with family. That's because babies and toddlers learn best through real life interaction, through talking, playing, exploring, and connecting with people. At this stage, their brains are growing so quickly and they need hands-on experience to build things like attention, language, movement, and emotional skills. But let's be realistic. Sometimes you need to take a shower or eat a hot meal or finish a work call, and that's okay. A bit of screen time now and then, especially if it's calm, age appropriate, and not replacing interaction, isn't likely to do harm. What matters most is what your child is doing most of the time. Here's something that gets lost in checklists. Every child develops in their own way. My boy, he didn't babble, he didn't play with traditional toys, he didn't really follow my point. As a speech and language therapist, I was curious about his development and what it would look like in the future, and something I am still curious about now, and he's 10. There's no one-size-fits-all timeline. What matters more than ticking a box is seeing progress over time and understanding your child's unique mix of strengths and needs. Some children say 100 words at 2, others say 5. Some understand everything but don't talk. Some talk a lot but don't always make sense. It's about the bigger picture, and you're the one who sees the picture the best. Here's what you can do every day starting right now. Talk about what your child is doing. Push the car. Repeat key words. Don't be afraid to say the same words 20 times an hour. That's how some children learn. This is what I did with a child with very few words, and they said pen for the first time. I've made a video about that and I will link it below. Use your home language. Speak the language you feel most comfortable in. It helps your child more than you know. Play with what you already have. Pots, pans, bangles, teddies, saris. No special toys are needed. Follow their lead. If they want to pretend to clean or stir an empty cup or roll a ball for ages, join in and add language to match. Fun is key. If they find it interesting, they will be engaged and language will develop from this. If they don't want to do the insert puzzle or the pretend play tea party, they won't. Their motivation is key to language development. If you're watching this video because you're worried, I want to say this clearly. You know when something feels off, you know what lights them up. You know when they're trying, even if others don't see it. If you're unsure or something doesn't sit right, trust your instinct and ask for support. You don't need to wait. Seeking support early is important. This will mean you get reassurance, but also your child gets support when they need it and quicker. Ask your GP, your health visitor, your special educational needs coordinator, or SENCO if your child is in a nursery. Some early years speech and language therapy services accept referrals straight from parents. It will also be very important to get your child's hearing tested. They might hear the rustle of the packet of crisps or the police siren or the doorbell, but it doesn't mean that they can hear the speech sounds. So it's best to make sure that this is fine before getting referred to speech and language therapy. The referral to audiology can be done by your GP. And whatever happens, keep doing what you're doing, loving them, connecting with them, and showing up every day, because that, more than anything, is what helps your child grow. If you found this video helpful, please share it with a parent who might need a bit of reassurance today. And let me know in the comment, what's your 2-year-old doing right now that you're proud of? See you in the next video.